your impressions of the appearance of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, the NIA boss, and the Finance Ministry before Parliament?
Well, I mean, there's clearly a grand scheme by government to force the use of the Ghana card as the sole identification document or instrument for registering people to vote. Because as it is now, the Ghana card is one of the documents that you can use to identify yourself as a citizen to be registered to vote. Indeed, the chairperson said that in the last registration exercise before the 2020 election, 10 million people came to register using the Ghana card as their identification document. 10 million people. So the argument that I made and the point that I made to her that day is that if 10 million people came and used the Ghana card to register because they had Ghana card, then if you actually work hard, that is NIA, and 17 million people, as we are projecting, have their cards, and about the same, 60 million or so are eligible to vote. About 6 million of those already have been registered. So you have 10 million who use their Ghana cards to register, and you have about 6 million who did not use Ghana card to register. But they are already on the register, and so they are not affected. Now you say that about 2.5 million people may have qualified to be registered. If those 2.5 million people have Ghana cards by the date of registration, the logical thing that will happen is that they will walk to you, the registration center, with their Ghana cards. That's the logical thing, because it is the easiest form of registration. If you already have the Ghana card, you come, no questions asked, because NIA has already identified you as a citizen. So instead of coming here and wanting to change the law and making it compulsory that you can only register with the Ghana card, leave the law as it is, that you may register with the Ghana card. But if you don't have the Ghana card, we'll use other forms of identifying you as a citizen. So I don't see the hurry to change the law so that it is only Ghana card. Leave it as it is, so that if you actually work hard, that's the Ghana National Education Authority, and all the people have their Ghana cards, the people will logically come to the center with their Ghana card, because it's the easiest way for them. Who will leave an easy way of registering and then go and be looking for guarantors to come and be swearing oath and doing all sorts of things so that they can register? But here we are talking about young people, those who have just turned 18 years and above. Now, their parents, if they don't have the Ghana card, should be able to walk with them to the registration center, show you their Ghana card. The mother, the father, should be able to walk with their son who is now 18 years old and qualified to vote. Should be able to walk to the registration center and show their Ghana card. I'm the son, I'm the father, I'm the mother. This is my Ghana card that shows I'm a Ghanaian. And this is his birth certificate. That is my son. So I want to, guarantee for him that he's a Ghanaian. I mean, this makes logical sense. This is a country that respects its citizens and where institutions know that they are there to serve the people, but not to lord it over them. You make life easy for them. You don't make life impossible and say, no, you must first send the child to National Identification Authority, go and register him and get a Ghana card. before the child can come, and then we will also register him to vote. When you know very well that it is not that easy for the person to get a Ghana card. This Ghana card started since Kufuor time. Up to date, not everybody has it. And you want to say that before September, when we are doing district assembly election, you want to assure Ghanaians that every other person who doesn't have it will get it. Why do you want us to take that risk? Something that you haven't achieved for all these, years. You want us to take a risk and make it compulsory. So that's the first argument. Then we said, okay, your main reason for coming here is that the guarantor system that you are using has been abused, and many children who are below 18 years have been registered, and that you even deleted about 40,000 people the last election. So you don't want the system to be abused. You want a clean and credible register. How can a register of 16 million people, which has only 40,000 people who are infants or below the age of 18, who have found themselves onto the register, how can the 40,000 people make a register of 16 million not a credible register? How can that happen? That you have a register of 16 million and you have 40,000 people on it who are not eligible, who are below 18, and they may actually be Ghanaian but below 18, who have gotten on that register, and you say it is not credible. Then I said to her, look, the fact that you have been able to identify those 40,000 and to delete their names from the register means that the law we gave you to work with is working. If the law was not working, you wouldn't have been able to identify the 40,000 people and to delete it. So go and keep doing what you are doing. When young children below 18 manage to find themselves onto the register, use other systems that we have given you to delete it. You can give the names to WAEC, because almost every child has gone to school now, and WAEC has that person's details because they all sit for basic certificate examination. And you have political parties sitting at the registration centers. And when they physically see that this child is not up to 18, they can tell because they are from the same community. Because in every community there is NDC, there is NPP. So if you bring your child, they know when you gave birth to that child because they are in the community with you. So if the child is underage, they will challenge it. And so those 40,000 that you deleted, they were the subject of challenges by the political parties. So it means that the law we designed and gave to you has inbuilt mechanisms to identify those who are not supposed to be on the register. So even when they slip and get to your system should be able to clean the register and make sure that it is credible. So keep working with that. Secondly, you say, oh, the guarantor system is being abused by people coming with underage people and then vouching for them and then finding their names onto the register. But then the Ghana identity card, they started without a guarantor system. But they found out that it is difficult. They found out that it is difficult to do registration without people vouching for others. For instance, parents should be able to vouch for their daughters and sons, especially when those parents have documents to show that they are Ghanaians, like they already have Ghana cards. So the Ghana National Identification Authority themselves came back to Parliament in 2008 and asked us to amend their 2000 law for them, which did not make provision for guarantor system. They asked us to amend their law for them and make provision for them to also use guarantor system. Because they saw that you, Electoral Commission, you were using guarantor system. They tightened their guarantor system a bit, and so commissioners of oaths must be there to guarantee and all those things. So you are also using a guarantor system. And in your guarantor system, instead of commissioners of oath, the guarantor is the one who is made to swear the oath himself. And it's on the form. So why are you saying that we should abolish your guarantor system and then we should force everybody to use the National Identification Authority card when the National Identification Authority is also using guarantor system to produce those cards? It doesn't make sense. Then she said, oh, the National Identification Authority guarantor system is more robust than the EC guarantor system. And we said, so okay, then cancel your guarantor system and bring us a proposal that says that we should allow you to also use a guarantor system similar to the the National Identification Authority. Since you are not against guarantor system, but you are only against a known robust guarantor system, and then you say that your guarantor and the National Identification Authority guarantor system is robust, we are ready to amend your law so that you can be using the same robust guarantor system that the National Identification Authority is also using, so that we can have peace. I hope I'm making sense.
Yes.
Are you getting the point?
Yes.
So let us change your guarantor system and allow you to use the same guarantor system that the National Identification Authority is using. Because you cannot say that everybody can only prove their citizenship using the Ghana card. Because, you know, there are other mechanisms for proving citizenship. And I pointed out to her that if you go to the Citizenship Act, the Citizenship Act makes provision for the Minister of Interior to issue certificates to people. And those certificates are evidence of citizenship anywhere in Ghana or in the world. Secondly, you can never be issued a Ghana passport unless it is proven that you are a Ghanaian citizen. So the process of obtaining a Ghana passport goes towards establishing that you are a Ghanaian. So when you produce the Ghana passport, we should accept it prima facie as evidence that you are a Ghanaian. So you, Electoral Commission, who has been asked to register Ghanaians to vote, cannot come and tell us that you will not allow anybody to come to you with a Ghana passport. You will not allow anybody to come to you with a certificate of the Interior Minister showing that you are a citizen of Ghana. And the only document that you will use is the what do they call it? The Ghana card. When the Ghana card, the person registering the Ghana card uses the same document. They use your birth certificate because your birth certificate will state who your father is and who your mother are. I mean, who your mother is, and then your parents' nationality is also, you know, disclosed on the birth certificate, which then presupposes that you are a Ghanaian. I said the National Identification Authority uses those same primary documents to determine that you are a Ghanaian and to issue the Ghana card to you. How come that you, another organization that has been asked to register Ghanaians to vote, will tell us that you will not use those other documents also to identify the same Ghanaian? So basically, that is one fundamental issue with the CI that we are fighting.
And all that goes to questions about the need for the CI, that you wanted to establish whether or not she really needed the CI, and you seem not convinced that she does.
She needs it. She doesn't need it unless she is just participating in an effort to disenfranchise people. Because if we make a mistake and then the CI passes, then the following day the NIA, which is under the control of the Interior Minister, NIA is under the control of the Interior Minister. It is not an independent commission like the Electoral Commission. It is under the control of partisan political authorities. So if we force and change the law today, the finance minister comes and swears that he will give them all the money to do their work. And the following day he doesn't give them, or even he gives them the money but doesn't give them enough. Or even he gives them all the money, but then another partisan agent like the Interior Minister give them directives. So don't register all the children in, let's say, all those who have become 18 in, let's say, Region A, which is known to vote in a certain way. And so those people don't get, or make it more difficult for them. Like we see, they came and gave us statistics saying that, oh, every day the machines can print 10 ID cards. Go and ask everybody in the communities. They will tell you they come and sit from morning to evening, and then if they are lucky, they have given them 10 cards. Even though they came and said, oh, it prints 100 cards a day. People are complaining to us. They print just 10 cards. And some of them are even alleging that if you don't pay, you don't get your card. So we passed a law that says that it's compulsory to use Ghana card. Then they now start making it difficult for people in certain parts of the country to get the Ghana card. So the Electoral Commission now sits back and uses that as an excuse in those parts of the country and say, well, nobody has come to us with a Ghana card, so we cannot register. I hope you get the issues.
Yes.
So we will not accept that.
So as far as you're concerned in the minority, this law will not be allowed to pass.
We will fight it. The unfortunate thing is that this law normally comes in the form of a CI. So it's not like an ordinary law where when it comes, you can easily, mobilize and vote and defeat it by just one vote. See, this law comes as a CI. And so if it slips and then it gets into the House, what happens is that you need to mobilize 2/3 of the members of the House before you can annul it. And we are only half of the House. So to get 2/3, we need to get, so many people from the NPP side. And it's going to be impossible for us to get those numbers. So that is why we must sensitize the Ghanaian public so that everybody will rise up and we'll all work together to oppose it. Because there's a limit to what we, the MPs, can do on the floor of the House. Because if they come and lay it, then it becomes almost impossible for us as members of Parliament to annul it, because to annul it, a CI or legislative instrument, you need to mobilize 2/3 of the House to be able to annul it.
Is there a possibility of stopping it from being laid in the first place?
One, we are doing our best. They have been wanting to lay this thing for the past 8 months. Just that you those sitting out there, we haven't made it an issue, a public issue. But internally, we've been doing everything to draw their attention to the fact that there is this problem. Go and change that and bring it, and we'll agree. And they have been adamant about it. And we've restrained them, we've fought them, using all sorts of measures until now. So where it is getting to, the Ghanaian public will have to get involved and say, look, this has the potential to derail our democratic process. If you say that you have money, NIA, to give everybody a card, everybody wants a card anyway, because even to hold mobile phones, we're told that if you don't have a Ghana card, your SIM registration will be annulled. Tell me what happened. Some people will find their SIM card more important than their passports, and they will do anything to defend their SIM card. But hard as they tried to get Ghana cards, they couldn't get it. And then the communication minister had to postpone the whole exercise indefinitely. Now, already people have issues even with voting. They feel they've been voting and they're not getting the rewards from voting. Then you now go and tell them that they must go and get Ghana card before they come and register to vote. They say, already me, I'm not interested in this voting exercise. So why would I go and struggle to get a Ghana card, which I need, but I'm not getting, just for the voting purposes? People already need Ghana card because their lives are easier with it. So voting or non-voting, if you actually are making it easy for people to get their Ghana card, they will come for it. And when they come for it, it is also easier for them to go and then register to vote. So just concentrate on getting it to them. Then you now say that apart from that one, when they now have the Ghana card, they have to travel to the district office of Electoral Commission to come and register. So I said, no. Over the years, the Electoral Commission has been going to the people to register them. Why is that this time you're saying that the people must come to the Electoral Commission to come and be registered? Why are you discriminating against those who are now going to register? Those who registered in the past, you always reached out to them, went to their communities where they vote. That's where you register them. Some of them don't know the voting rules. But then if they came and registered at this police station, they know that, when it is voting time, I'm supposed to come back to this police station. Now, if he goes to the district office to come and register, how does he know exactly which polling station he's supposed to go and vote. Because you don't have the polling stations, operating. So you are going to make life difficult for them to identify their polling station. But even more important is the fact that you are going to make it difficult for them to even register. Because first and foremost, he has to find money, travel to the district office of the NIA, try to register, and sometimes they can go there 2 times, 3 times, and not get their card. Then after they have gotten the card, they have to travel back again to town, to the Electoral Commission office, to try and register. So we said, look, when you do all these things, you make it difficult for them to register. So this other provision that says that you want to designate the district office as the continuous registration exercise, it doesn't wash. So you need to combine the old method with a new method. The old method is that you go out and do limited registration exercise in their various communities. And then you come back and sit in your office and announce that all those who could not register when you came to their communities, they can now come to your district office and register at their own expense because they are taxpayers. And so you must serve them. The way you served others in the past, you must also serve them the same way. So you go to their communities once and then give them the opportunity to register. If you don't register within the time period that you have given them, you come back and sit in your office and tell them, look, we gave you opportunity because we came to your community. You didn't come out to register. Now we are sitting in our office, so it is your job to also come to our office and come and register. Then you would have been fair to those people. So those are the issues that fundamentally we brought up in the engagement with the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and the chief executive of the National Identification Authority. And those are the issues along which the battle lines are drawn and we are fighting them.
And that is a challenge there because there are 2 sides in Parliament. You said your numbers only make up half. The other half are also members of Parliament with constituents. They have the same complications that you talk about within their constituencies when they are contesting, knowing that some of their constituents might not have Ghana card. Some of their constituencies will struggle to move from their villages to the district offices to register, among others. But you are suggesting that they are still backing this. Why is it that you are unable to see reason on this matter, the 2 sides, knowing that you are all fighting the same cause?
Well, it's easy. I mean, and these are just thoughts that we are putting out. You cannot, at this stage, say concretely that this is what is happening or this is what is going to happen. But in politics and in lawmaking, you always think about the bad man. You think about, okay, if I put this law in the hands of a bad man, what will he do with it? And then you design the law in such a way that even if the law ends up in the hands of a bad man, he will not be able to do bad things. Now, take our country. Take even the parliamentarians and the parties that they come from and the parties that form government. Let's assume that NDC was in office. You know very well that, NDC tends to get its support base from the northern regions and the constituencies there. It gets its support base from the Volta regions and their constituencies there. And now we tend to get we got a lot of parliamentarians also from the central region and the western region. So now assume that this law is in the hands of NDC, which is full of bad people. What will they do? And they control the National Identification Authority. They can actually give the National Identification Authority all the money that they are asking for. But then they will post teams to the regions that are their strongholds and tell those workers there that make sure that when you wake up in the morning, register 100 people so that everybody is captured. Then they will post another set of teams to Ashanti where they haven't been getting enough votes to win majority of the constituencies. or some portions of the eastern region where they haven't been getting the majority of the votes. And then those teams, they will tell them that when you wake up, from morning till evening, register only 10 people until the time is over for registration. We'll just keep frustrating them. Or when they come, let them go and come 10 times. When you wake up, you will register only 5 people, or even 10 people, or even register 100 people, but don't issue the card to them. Let them go and come until you get so tired and frustrated that they will stop coming to request for their card. You see, so the law will be neutral on the face of it, but the implementers will be arbitrary in their implementation of the same neutral law, and then they will deliberately make it difficult for people from certain parts of the country where they don't believe they have votes, and then they will then disenfranchise those people, and that will have an impact on the political outcome. So you think about, if this law falls in the hands of a bad person, what will that bad person do with a law like that? We are not saying that the people in government today are bad people, but just assume that they are bad people, and then you give them a law like this. What will they do with the law? I hope you understand me.
Do you think they are bad?
Well, the point is that anytime I'm making law, I assume that this law will fall in the hands of a bad person. What can the bad person do with it? So I have to put in place mechanisms and checks so that if it is a bad person, the checks and the mechanisms and checks that are put in the law will make it impossible for the bad person to do bad things. So we're saying that fine, we've put in the law that you may use Ghana card, but then also we want a guarantor system there, so that if you make it difficult for them to get the Ghana card, they can still go with their children and stand there and guarantee for their children, because you cannot prevent them from guaranteeing for their children. So that guarantor system must be there, so that if we have bad people managing the Ghana card registration process, the parents will have an alternative, even though that may be an inconvenient alternative, but still they have an alternative.
Well, so the whole exercise that was held 2 days ago, they appear before you. We understand there'll be a meeting today. There'll be a report laid before the House. The House will debate it. What happens? Will it be put to a vote? Simple majority allows it to be laid. How does it work?
Well, I mean, when a committee meets, the committee generates a report, and then that report is presented to what do they call it? That report is presented to the House. We debate it further, and then we vote on it. And the vote gives indication what the thinking of the House is on the issues that you have brought before us. So I will not want to speak about the next stage of the process, because for us there are issues of strategy. So we will reserve that for now.
Before I let you go, let me agitate your mind a little bit. I think it was yesterday that we were having a discussion about this same issue, and the question came up as to whether, if you look at the Electoral Commission, has specific functions stated under the Constitution. One of them is voter registration, which means the Electoral Commission can on its own decide which documents it accepts or does not accept. Now, the Electoral Commission is basically ceding that responsibility to the NIA. So if the NIA does not work, it will not work. There are those who are suggesting that this raises serious questions about the EC's protection of its own independence in this manner, because like I said, they are ceding that part of their function to the executive. What do you think? And that could lead to voter suppression.
But that's the point that I made, that the danger here is the fact that the National Identification Authority is under an authority of it's under the supervision of the Interior Minister, who is clearly a partisan agent. So you cannot, predicate the exercise of the constitutional function of the Electoral Commission, which is supposed to be independent, on the outcome of the work of an authority that is subject to partisan control. So that's why I went to great lengths to demonstrate how the Interior Minister and the Chief Executive of the National Identification Authority, who are all under the control of the President, their work can be used to undermine the ability of the Electoral Commission, which is supposed to be an independent constitutional body, from exercising their responsibility and their function. So those are the real issues. Why would you, Electoral Commission, allow yourself to be tied to the apron strings of the National Identification Authority, which is not an independent constitutional body? You must at all times guard against the control of any other, agent that is not, independent, and that could easily be manipulated by, political agents. And so I was even further scandalized, if you recall that day, if you listen, when Osei Sabonsu got up and in his usual, uninformed approach to constitutional issues, got up and was shouting that, nobody can stop government business from being brought to the House. So I asked a simple question: is the Electoral Commission government? The Electoral Commission is not government. So we're not talking about government business here. Or you will have succeeded in co-opting the Electoral Commission into government, and therefore business that they bring to us as parliamentarians to consider has suddenly become government business. But then that just betrays the thinking, because some of them inadvertently end up demonstrating really what they are thinking without even realizing that that is what they are doing. How did Electoral Commission business become government business? Because Electoral Commission is not supposed to pass through government to lay their business. They are only to present it to the Speaker. They are not supposed to pass through government. Their proposal comes direct to Parliament, to the Speaker takes it. The same way that when the President also has business, he brings it direct to the Speaker takes it. The Constitution has guaranteed the autonomy and independence of the Electoral Commission. But the majority there got up on the floor and was shouting that it's government business and we cannot frustrate government business. And the Electoral Commission sat there and they kind of, didn't even understand that statement undermined their independence as a commission, because you are not part of government. So your business cannot be government business. So you are right. Their behavior and their conduct clearly shows, and their statements clearly show that they have, or they believe that they have compromised the Electoral Commission, and the Electoral Commissioner is in bed with government, and so the Electoral Commission business has become government business.